Chief, you mentioned that 3 investigators are assigned to, one was to the US Marshals, one was to the FBI, and another one was to the DEA. Why are our Boardman police investigators assigned to those federal agencies?
Well, there's a number of reasons, but I'll try to describe it for you. Our federal partners are great, and the way this works is we assign an officer to DEA, we assign an officer to the FBI, and we assign an officer to the United States Marshals Task Force. And when we have something that's probably a little bit beyond our capabilities or approaching that, our federal partners will step in and help us. I'll give you a couple examples. In the case of the DEA, periodically we will get groups that stay in our motels that are moving large quantities of narcotics into the city of Youngstown. Now, if you think about it, there are no motels or hotels in the city of Youngstown. There aren't any. You can't rent a single motel room in the city. So if Jamaicans or Guatemalans or Mexicans are moving a large quantity of marijuana or heroin into the city, typically they need a base of operations. And we find often they'll set up in our hotels and motels because moving a truckload of marijuana into an area it's a logistical nightmare for them. They have to move the drugs in and then they have to move the money out, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they have to do it without getting caught.
So they don't want a permanent residence.
No,
so
no.
You need to find them.
And so when we get these groups that come in, DEA, because of our partnership with them, will help us with that operation. They'll step in and lend assistance to that investigation.
But the investigation is in Boardman.
Correct, okay. Yes. In the case of the FBI task force, you know, sometimes investigations are long-term. They involve people that live outside of the community, and we really need their expertise. You know, the FBI has wonderful technological capabilities as far as wiretapping or whatever, probably beyond our area of expertise.
Is that who does DNA for us, or is that somebody else?
DNA is done at the state crime lab, okay. But we do have access to the FBI's lab if we need it. For example, there was a recent fraud case where a local businessman, rather than have his business burned, wanted to have it destroyed. And it happened in a way that we needed their help to investigate that matter, because a lot of the actors came from out of town. And so because of our partnership with them, that investigation was completed. In the case of the United States Marshals, most recently here we had an incident where a man went into a local drugstore and pulled a gun to rob the pharmacy of drugs. On his way out, he took a lady hostage at gunpoint. He discarded her in the parking lot and went on a crime spree in the city here in Boardman and in Youngstown, and then fled and went to South Carolina, robbing various pharmacies and grocery stores all the way to South Carolina. And then in South Carolina eventually started a crime spree there where he was arrested. Well, at some point he needed to be transported back here for justice. And so the United States Marshals and their expertise in transporting prisoners around the country facilitated that for us. And so it's very important that we keep these relationships with our federal partners, because they are in fact force multipliers. They allow us to do things that we couldn't otherwise do as a smaller town police department.